Rabbi Zusia, who lived in the 18th century, was a pious and compassionate man. One day when his students came to his house, they saw him weeping and crying. "What happened, rabbis?" they asked him, being so concerned. He answered that the previous night he had a vision in which he was dead and was standing before the angels who guard heaven. "It is not the fear of death that scared me," he said. "I knew that one day that would happen, and I even prepared answers to all the questions I expected the angels to ask me. I thought that they would ask me, 'Zusia, why weren't you more like Moses, so courageous? Moses, who was able to confront the Pharaoh and liberate his people out of slavery?' To that, I would say, I was never born with the courage that Moses had. 'Why weren't you more like King Solomon?' they would ask me, 'so wise, so prolific.' And I would say, I was not born with the intellect that Solomon had. But they didn't ask me any of these questions. They asked me, 'Zusia, why weren't you more like Zusia?' And to that, I had no answer. Growing up, even though my parents never explicitly said, 'Why weren't you more like so-and-so?' that was the message I got. I was a good student and a good athlete, but no matter how well I did, there was always this voice in my head saying, 'Why aren't you as good as?' I remember a hard physics test. I got a 92, but the harassing voice immediately started, 'Why weren't you like Dan, who got 98? Or when I scored a goal in an important match, all I was left with was the voice in my head, 'Why aren't you like Yossi, who scored 2 goals?' The same voice was my company throughout the army, college, grad school, and even rabbinical school. But at one point, I started to look at the world in a different way. I learned that humanity is like a jigsaw puzzle of some 8 billion pieces that are all different from each other and are all crucially important. And what happens when we try to force a piece of puzzle into the wrong place? We ruin the piece and we ruin the whole puzzle. Each one of us is a unique piece in the tapestry of humanity. We all have different skills, aptitudes, needs, and have received different gifts from God. If we try to live someone else's life, we'll never know true happiness and will never be fulfilled. If we don't live the life we were meant to live, no one else will, and that's a great loss. Now, more than ever before, our culture puts us under an immense pressure to be someone else. The month of Elul reminds us that the best thing we can do for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for the whole world is returning to who we really are. What in your life does not align with who you really are?